And now we continue. Our next speaker is Karina Zarubo. She is professional coach, ICF member. She has Master Business Administration degree. And Karina is a member of Administrative Council of Russian Language and Culture Child Center in Bordeaux, France. Karina will tell us how to communicate effectively with potential clients from different cultures. Karina, you're welcome.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me? It's okay? I will share my screen, just a minute. So, my presentation. Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm very glad to participate in this conference. So many ideas, so much inspiration from my colleagues, and thank you for being here now. I hope during my presentation you will have more insights and you find some useful information that could help you to build successful relationship with people from different cultures and countries. And I would like to share with you some aspects of cultural differences which will help you to communicate more effectively with potential clients. I will share with you 5 tips concerning this topic, and if you have questions you can write in chat, and I will answer after I finish my speech if you don't mind. And I would be very glad if you share with me your experience maybe about communicating with people within other cultures. So we will start. So I don't see chat. So all the questions after. I will introduce myself a little bit. Now my principal work is a coaching, and I have clients from different corners of our planet. And in fact, my life and my work before coaching always have been connected with people of different nationalities. And my family consists of Latvian, Russian, Spanish, French, Arabic cultures. I lived in US, in Latvia and Spain, and now I'm living in France. I have friends all over the world, and my professional contacts and activities always were and are multinational. I speak several languages, and I really feel that all world is open for me. And it is a wonderful place now, accessible by anyone. And for coaches who want to work internationally, it offers a lot of opportunities to find clients from any corner of our planet. And my experience shows me that in spite of many considerations that at least in 15 years we will live in a global village, I am sure that it is essential to understand cultural differences when working with people from different cultures, countries. And some of these differences are visible, and more often they are invisible for us. And international communication can create a lot of misunderstanding and even lead to conflict. And as a result, damage building successful relationship, commercial relationship with a potential client. A person acts according to the values and norms of his or her culture, we know. And another person holding a different worldview. I'm sorry. So a different worldview might interpret his or her behavior from an opposite standpoint. And we communicate the way we do because we are raised in a particular country, and learn its language, rules, norms. And understanding the other's cultures facilitates cross-cultural communication and maximize your chance to get a contract, to sign a contract. And like coaches, we understand very well how to communicate with values, beliefs, behavior patterns in coach session. But as to business communication, or social communication, it is sometimes difficult to understand. What does he mean, yes or no? And why doesn't he answer my email in direct, clear way? Or I don't understand why he asked me how is my grandma, and so on. And you know, today my goal is to attract your attention to this topic and to encourage you, before sorting the clients abroad, to have at least some knowledge of people's cultural background. So, one of the things that we notice first communicating with people from another cultures is attitudes to time, and it differs between different countries in often quite a significant way. And the way in which potential clients from other countries relate to time can be a real challenge when you are trying to organize a productive interaction with them, despite the fact that we all have the same 60 seconds in a minute, 24 hours a day. Being in time, on time, or out of the time doesn't mean the same to everyone. And understanding how a potential client defines in time is critical, in my opinion, to building successful relationship in business and social connections. For example, if you communicate with someone from Switzerland, you should be aware that in this culture, in time means exactly on time. So it would be better to be punctual to arrive at the meeting, and don't be late to the train station because it will depart on exact time, not a second before or not a second after. And otherwise, you noticed a fairly significant contrast if you take a look at what in time means to the, for example, Spanish culture, you know? Who knows? For this culture, it means in time something entirely different. And arriving somewhere in time is more flexible here. Being late, for example, for an appointment, or take a long time to get down to business is the accepted norm. And so it happens in most Mediterranean and Arabic countries, as well as in much of less developed Asia. And maybe you know, attention with the word mañana, that typically means later or tomorrow morning, or sometimes someday. It's not exact time. So the tip number one, respect differences in attitude to time. And here you see two groups, cultures on time. As I said, these cultures consider punctuality to be very important. Business is taken seriously and carefully planned, well organized, structured, and more formal. It is appropriate to call if you will be more than 5 or 10 minutes late. And attention, for these countries, arriving late can make you appear to be unreliable. And other group, the flexible time cultures, the time is more flexible and the things can sometimes take longer to accomplish. And you will want to show patience because it is highly respected and appreciated, especially in Arabic cultures. Avoid making anyone feeling pressured or hurried. And very important also is to understand business hours that you should respect when making appointment. Sure, you know this word siesta, and when 2 or 3 hours nobody works, or like in Arabic countries, the basic working week is 5 days, and it begins on Saturday instead of Monday. And in Arabic cultures, they have 5 daily prayers, so you should respect also the prayer times. And at the same time, respecting time differences helps you not to make conclusions that your potential client from, for example, Spain is unpunctual, undisciplined, lazy, irresponsible, or untrustworthy, or if we are speaking about on-exec time countries, to be obsessed with rules, formalities, and emotionally cold. So this is tip number 1. And the next point which helps us to building successful relationships is understand how different cultures view relationship development and business objectives. And some cultures tend to be more relationship oriented, and others are more objective, task oriented. So in relationship-oriented cultures, relationship depends on trust, building up slowly, and these relationships are stable. And it's necessary to spend more time with potential clients from this type of culture, developing a personal connection before pursuing a business goal. And it is necessary to engage in this kind of social behavior to form business rapport and trust. So relationships are very important element of business. The result is important also to them, of course, but however, if it comes at the expense of the relationship, they are likely to consider the relationship first. So they, like I said, they engage in more rapport building and small talking. And, you know, don't be surprised when meeting someone for the first time, one immediately asks you about your age, about your family status, some personal things. It's okay. Professional and personal lives often like intertwine, mixed. So, and one point important, decisions in these type of cultures and countries tend to be made top down or only after group consensus is reached. The emphasis is not on one or two expert opinions, and loyalty to the team are of high importance. The harmony of group, team, so it's important. And making decision, you know, on one's own, no matter how brilliant, wonderful, is not appreciated. And in fact, anyone attempting to do so is likely to be considered immature and rash. And for these countries, good person puts the group, the team first. And otherwise, on the other hand, we have countries of outcome-oriented cultures. They develop business relationship more quickly and spend less time developing rapport and trust. And the main purpose of their communication is to achieve the business goal. And this should be the primary focus. And as a result, these cultures take a more, you know, direct business approach and quickly get to the point about what they want to accomplish. And a simple introduction may only consist of your name, depending on situation, sure. And immediate questions about the focused communication, don't stray far from the topic being discussed. And here, decision-making is often the responsibility of an individual, depending on a person's rank, level of specialization, and to work independently are highly valued. And here, appealing too frequently for assistance or guidance from leaders or co-workers may consider like a sign of weakness, you know. So here, individual work more. So the tip number 2, balance business and relationships. So relationship can take longer to develop in many countries and cultures, and avoid being too much anxious to begin business discussion, and be prepared for some social interaction and small talk, and follow the lead of the culture with which you are engaged to build rapport, to build business or social connection. So, about email etiquette. In today's global business, we frequently meet, greet, and establish relationships using virtual communication, especially email. And very often we never see or interact with people with whom we have email relationships in person. And sometimes we don't even talk to them by phone because of the international time differences. And thanks to this, email has firmly established its place as the #1 method of business communication. You agree? And be extremely careful and give careful thought about what you put in writing. You want to make sure as best as you can that it doesn't cause miscommunication and misunderstanding. And email etiquette is also culturally sensitive. So my recommendation #3, know how to address people. The practice of using first names, surnames, titles varies from country to country. And sorry, and in some countries, such as China, the family name comes first. And this is important to know when addressing someone, especially in email for the first time. And very often Europeans and Westerns email Asians using their family name, thinking that it is their first name. So be attentive here. And my tip #4, concerning that, it might be confusing for us sometimes. What style, format should I choose writing email? More formal or less formal? Because there are cultures which are more formal in their email and writing communication. They are likely more to use surnames, professional titles. So they are expressive, tending to use descriptive adjectives, adverbs, and generally staying away from abbreviations. And in general, in this case, concern the Asian Pacific, Indian, Southern Europe, Middle Eastern, and Latin American cultures. They are more formal. And in opposite, for example, US, British, Canadian, Australian, Northern Europe countries are more direct and to the point in their email, overly polite, but they are usually less formal. And there is less descriptive details, and they like abbreviations. So, not to be lost in rules, I recommend you, when possible, model the email sender style and format. Use their surname and title if they use in introduction of emails. If you are the first one to email someone from another culture, follow the guidelines for formality. And here I give you an example of email that you can receive. And I wonder, which answer will you choose? #1 or #2? If we are speaking about model the email sender style. So I will see now a chat. 2. Yes, you catch this, no? So is it clear here? Okay. So, and finally, I have, I need to finish. So finally, tip #5, my bonus tips. So learn the business card exchange. Is it one-handed or two-handed? And do the cards need to be translated or not? Which colors use, you know? And you know, in Japan, the business card exchange, one colleague told me, is so business card exchange is done with great respect. So you must treat business cards with great care. And the second, avoid making inappropriate actions. For example, if you know, in Arabic cultures, the left hand is considered the unclean hand. And so use the right hand to eat, to exchange gifts, to touch things and pass food or articles. Also, these cultures, Arabic, don't especially like to be in the presence of or touched by animals. So if you invite them to your home, it is best to keep animals, especially dogs, away from them. No, it's interesting. So, and the last one is understand food traditions. What is the style of eating with fork or knife? And knife or chopsticks, or even eating with your hand, it might happen. So do they eat pork, beef or not? Or if you leave the food on a plate, on your plate, is it rude or not? And you know that in Portugal, asking in restaurant the salt and pepper is a huge offense to the chef and his cooking abilities, so be attentive. So I see, yes, we have 5 minutes, I'll finish. I give you some tips, and I hope I could encourage you to learn some information of, you know, people cultural backgrounds before starting searching clients, before starting business relationships. And finally, enjoy yourself. This might sound a little bit difficult after hearing about all these rules, and there are much more, but it is possible. Do your preparation, do your homework, and then relax and connect at the human cultural level. So I'm sure if you enjoy working with other cultures, they are likely to enjoy the same with you. So thank you. I finished my presentation and I will look in the chat.
Yes, please.
Irina, thank you. Where this question starts. So.
If you would like, I can start.
So they say in South America it's normal to leave more deals for tomorrow. It's true, yeah. Yes. Mañana. Thank you. Karina, thank you for showing for this difference. You're welcome. Paid sessions are always in time. Yes, it's true. But before have a paid session, you need to establish this social relationship to get a contract for the paid session. So the main challenges in winning trust of European American coaches for ex-Soviet people in winning trust. So the main challenge. So you know, it's in my opinion, it's to show respect and to find this comfortable middle ground between your culture and that which you are working with. Also, you should be careful with humor to avoid discussing politics and other sensitive topics, because sometimes you want to discuss, and the challenge for me, it was to keep silence. So the presentation later. Okay, thank you for information. You know, finishing my presentation today, I would like, you know, not to offer you a fish, but show you where to fish, I would like to share with you some books, maybe. One of the books which helped me very much to understand these cross-cultural differences, it is the book of Philip Rasinski. So you see, Coaching Across Cultures. So it's very useful information there. And another book, I will stop my share screen. I will paste it in chat. So it is the book, chat. I don't see. Here. Okay, this one. I like this. And there are a lot of examples of special particular characteristic of country you are interested in. So, Karina, thank you very much. You are welcome. Do you use Philip Rasinski? Or yes, I use, yes, to understand these differences. Because, you know, when there is a person from your culture, your country, you can understand these differences, establishing business connections. But when you meet somebody from another culture, sometimes you are confused. And so understanding this intercultural communication helps very much in marketing, to prepare marketing materials, to prepare negotiations, to understand the protocol of the meeting. It's very important how to give gifts. So yes, Philip Rasinski, yes, I have recommended you this book, no? From your point of view, what are benefits for coaching to work with foreign coach? It's an interesting question. Benefits, I don't know, we need to ask this coachee, this client. But in my experience, it is a personality of the coach who can attract the client. And sometimes they doesn't care if English or Spanish or French is your native language. And I advise you, I recommend you to be proactive in searching your client, to write posts, to write articles, to participate in events, to do networking and direct contacts with people from another countries. And your personality, yes, it's a key, I think. Okay, did you spell the names of the books? I can't see them. So, Natalia, I have put the name one of the book in the chat. Say anything. Sorry. It was not. I will. So this is one of the book, and another about coaching across cultures by Philip Rasinski. Can you see this? So, you're welcome. So, I think I finished.
I have a question. May I ask you, please?
Okay, Irina, you're welcome.
Karina, you told us about different cultures and so important things which should be taken into account. And from your practice, could you please share with us what kind of the most interesting surprise have you met coaching people of different culture?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know. I will think a little bit. You know, the most interesting for me, it was connected with people from Arabic cultures, you know?
Really?
And yes, and this tradition, this rule about left hand and right hand, and that they begin their week on Saturday, not on Monday, and that you should respect the prayers times 5 times a day. So it was one of my most challenges to accept these rules and these differences between us.
Thank
you, Rina, for question.
Very interesting.
So thank you, colleagues. Have a nice day.
Do you have questions? No more questions? Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Karina, for so many details we should take into account. And we had a question regarding presentation. Participants ask whether they could have a presentation after the conference. I think that it should be addressed to Dmitry later on.